Welcome back to the program. Imagine you're a Christian. And imagine you are just trying to practice your faith. And a band of extremist radical Muslims breaks into your church, kidnaps you, then proceeds to tie your hands and your feet behind your back. They then carefully lower you into a tube of old tires. They put a gag in your mouth. They say an Islamic prayer. They douse you in gasoline. And then they light you on fire and let you scream until you're dead. Now imagine they take your women, and not only do they rape them, but then they stab you in the stomach and they gut you and leave you to bleed. Or how about they take your offspring and cut their heads off while you watch? Or maybe, perhaps, they tie you down on the ground, your arms connected to a horse, 4 horses. It's called quartering. And then they hit the horse in the ass, all of them at once, and they tear you to pieces and drag you to your death. This is what is happening right now in those graphic descriptions to Christians around the world, but most importantly right now in Nigeria. Nigeria is ground zero for Christian persecution. And it wasn't even until a couple of months ago that, of all people, Bill Maher, that's right, Bill Maher is the one that kind of brought it to people's attention first and foremost. Now, this is something that's been going on for many, many years. Christian persecution is nothing strange. We've heard of it throughout history. But it got really, really bad as of recent. We saw in South Africa, of course, these radical extremists in South Africa screaming, "Kill the Boer, kill the white farmer," and destroying these white farmers, killing them in mass graves, execution style. And it's spread. And it doesn't matter if you're a white South African or perhaps maybe a Chinese person in China, or maybe a Vietnamese Christian, or maybe a Christian any other place around the world, including black Christians, like in Nigeria. The Islamic faith hates Christianity, and therefore it cannot, in my opinion, coexist in this world with Christianity. It is indeed the antithesis of what a Christian believes. It is a false prophet, false gods. And that is what Islam is. So, President Trump has finally said, enough is enough. And he wants to see the killing stop. And yes, the president of peace, who's brokered 8 peace deals with a 9th hopefully on its way, and has freed hostages throughout not just Gaza, but around the world, he will use decisive action and short-term violence when needed. Just ask the Venezuelan drug cartels, who are about to be invaded on land here pretty soon. But not just that. Nigeria, they could be invaded with boots on the ground shortly as well. Because one thing you have to be a peacemaker is someone willing to destroy and eliminate those that keep us from having peace. Listen to this. Trump has sounded the alarms on Christian genocide in Nigeria, pledges to take action against the Islamist atrocities. Posting on Truth Social, Trump spoke out about the threats faced by Nigerian Christians at the hands of these Islamic monsters. Let's call them what they are. Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Thousands of Christians are being killed. Radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter. I hereby am making Nigeria a country of particular concern. But that is the least of it. When Christians of any such group are slaughtered, like is happening right now in Nigeria, 3,100 have been murdered. And then it says 4,476 worldwide. Something must be done. Now, he didn't give a time frame on that because I'm sure there are way more than 3 or 4 or even 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10,000 Christians that have been killed. I mean, hell, this year alone, it's probably 100,000, maybe even more. Who knows? I am asking Congressman Riley Moore, together with Chairman Tom Cole and the House Appropriations Committee, to immediately look into this matter and report back to me. The United States cannot stand by while such atrocities are happening in Nigeria and numerous other countries. We stand ready, willing, and able to save our great Christian population around the world. This warning was underlined by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who said, "The ongoing slaughter of thousands of Christians in Nigeria by radical Islamists and Fulani ethnic militias is both tragic and unacceptable," he wrote. As President Trump said, the United States stands ready, willing, and able to act. While it remains unclear exactly what action could be taken, the most likely outcome would involve sanctions on members of the Nigerian government and those aiding and abetting on the violence. In recent years, Nigeria has witnessed a relentless wave of anti-Christian violence carried out by Islamist groups and Fulani militias. Entire villages have been wiped out and razed, churches burned to the ground, and pastors brutally murdered in what many observed and describe as a campaign of religious cleansing. The attacks are typically carried out by Islamic militias, particularly the Islamic State West Africa Province and Boko Haram, which believe in Islamic supremacy and the total elimination of Christians from the country's north and central regions. The Nigerian government has done absolutely nothing to practically little to stop any of this bloodshed. Security forces often arrive hours or days after attacks have already been committed, if at all, while officials downplay or deny the scale and brutality of this violence. 5 million Christians displaced, 9,100 churches burned to the ground, 850 plus Christian hostages taken, 600 clergy members murdered. Unbelievable. So Trump may do sanctions. He may do something like that. But there's another article out that says, quote, Trump warns that if sanctions don't work and they don't stop the killing, the U.S. military will go into Nigeria, quote, guns a-blazing, end quote, over killing of Christians. So they're not playing around. And you know what? I'm glad. Because we've got to save as many of these Christians as humanly possible. And I just want to pivot now to this New York mayoral race. If you are in New York and you watch this show and you're thinking of voting for Curtis Sliwa, don't do it. Please don't do it. I like Curtis. I think he's a good guy. He's been in New York many, many years. He's taken bullets. He's a tough guy. Guardian angels, I get it. I understand. It's not his time. It's not even Cuomo's time. But it's certainly never an Islamic jihadist, communist time either. So I would implore everybody in New York, please, your country is depending on you, not just New York City. Vote for Cuomo. There's a poll out that said that Cuomo is, quote, within striking distance of Mamdani. I said it before on Jason's show, and I'll say it right now. What happened, New York? 24 years ago, over 3,000 Americans were slaughtered by Islamic jihadists in that city of New York. Did you forget? Do you have short-term memory loss? It's not even 25 years later, and you want to elect someone with no experience who has said that he hates Jews, that says he wants to put Islam first? Have you not been paying attention to what's happening in Europe for the last 25, 30 years? I don't get it. I don't understand it. But if, God forbid, they elect this absolute disaster, Mandami, you can almost guarantee there'll be another 9/11 type event. Almost guarantee it. But guess what? It won't be from planes hitting buildings. Nope. It'll be coming from inside. Okay? It'll be coming from inside. And when he opens up the floodgates and he defunds the police and he allows all these Muslims to come into the city, you're going to have suicide bombings, maybe even at the Christmas ceremony lighting in Rockefeller Center. You could have, suicide bombings at the Yankees games, at the, other areas and in the different boroughs. I mean, he will import as many Muslims into New York City as humanly possible because he knows that other than them and dumb white women, he doesn't really have support. So I can guarantee you that if he does somehow pull this out, it won't be from free and fair elections. It'll be from, I can guarantee you, just like we saw in Minnesota, a ballot harvesting operation throughout the 5 boroughs that I can guarantee you will take place, and it will be all Muslims. That's right. It'll be all Muslims that are running it, just like we saw in Minnesota. I hope and pray that New York does not slit their own throats, okay? Because that's what you're going to do. You're going to slit your own throats. And I don't understand why New Yorkers, after what they have suffered through 24 years ago, can't get the taste of the gun metal barrel out of their mouths. Crazy, crazy times. The rest of the country's moving to the right. The rest of the country's doing great. But yet, this is what's going to happen possibly in New York. And this is what happens. These radical extremists from the DSA, they're all sponsored and funded by, what do? They look for districts that they know are overwhelmingly Democrat. They run these radical extreme candidates in these districts or in these cities, knowing they're never going to get any pushback at all because liberals are stupid and they don't ask questions. They just hear, oh, you're going to give me free this, you're going to give me free that, you're going to give me free this, you're going to give me free that. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, I'll vote for you. Meanwhile, they never ask because they don't have any brains in their head. Well, how are you going to pay for it? They don't care. They don't care. And it's terrible to see what may transpire next week. I just hope and pray that it doesn't. But I am glad that President Trump is now focused on saving these Christians, not just in Nigeria, but around the world. Those are my thoughts. What are yours? Put them down in the comments below. We'll see you in the next one.